Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm just going to have a chat whilst I'm out on my daily walk. I'm going to answer some of the questions that I haven't perhaps answered for you guys yet. Things about work, my diet and exercise. So yeah, let's go. So how did I react when I was told that my scan showed no evidence of disease? Well, to be honest, my reaction was very understated. So yeah, I don't want to play down how it made me feel. Obviously there was a huge relief and I was ecstatic to hear those words. But I think all the way through this I've tried to keep very level, trying not to react too emotionally to things. So don't get too high, don't get too low. I mean, probably at that point I could have released a bit more emotion perhaps at the time, but yeah, there's also the element of the fact that yes, my body is healed, but this has got to catch up a little bit now. So when I say this, I mean sort of the mental health side of things, and that's going to take a bit more time now to actually get used to the fact that there's no disease in my body and to trust the fact that there's no disease in my body. So I think there's a bit of that going on as well. And I don't think that's talked about very much actually when it comes to cancer, is what happens after you've got through it. A few people have asked, what did I do to celebrate? Have I had a nice drink or something? Well, I haven't actually had an alcoholic drink now for over a year, or I think the last time I had an alcoholic drink was New Year's last year. So yeah, just over a year ago. And yeah, I don't know how I feel about going back to drinking alcohol. I mean, I was never a big drinker anyway, but yeah, I don't miss it. But then saying that, recently I've been craving a pint of Guinness. So I don't know, maybe I'll have the odd pint of Guinness here or there, so we'll see. So this is a subject I've kind of avoided talking about for a while now, and that's my work, my career, so to speak. And for anyone that doesn't know, I'm a paramedic, and I've done that for over 10 years now, mostly working for the London Ambulance Service, one of the busiest ambulance services in the world. And I'm due to go back to work very, very soon, in fact. And I'm not sure that I'm actually going to go back and do that as a job. Obviously, what I've been through over the last year, you think a lot about how you spend your time, how you spend your energy, and whether you're doing it in the right ways. And I feel like I've given that job enough of my energy. Because being a paramedic, it's physically demanding. You have to do long hours. You eat when you can get a chance to eat. You're out on the road 12 hours a day. You're working, strange shifts and things. And I think I owe my body a little bit more than that now. I don't want my body to have to kind of guess when it needs to be awake and when it's going to go to sleep and when it's going to get food and things like that. Perhaps showing a little bit too much here, but I'm a bit nervous about being away from a toilet for too long, being in an work environment where I can't just use the toilet when I need to. My digestion's fine 95% of the time, but when for that 5%, I don't want to be out on an ambulance and have to ask to go to the toilet and be 15 minutes away from that. So there is that as well. So yeah, it feels a bit strange me saying this out loud, but yeah, I don't know whether I'm going to go back and do that. The door is open. I can go back and do paramedic work if I want to, but I feel like I need to be true to myself and true to this feeling that I have inside that part of my life is behind me now, and I need to take this chance to move on and do something else. So this has been on my mind quite a lot the last few months, knowing that the day that I would be going back to work is approaching. Yeah, it's been a bit of a battle inside my head, so hopefully this will help getting it out and talking about it. But what am I going to do? Good question. A little bit lost, I have to admit, a little bit lost with that. I'm lucky that I do have the offer of a little bit of work with family members doing some odd jobs and things for them, which will bring a bit of money in for a few weeks. And then yeah, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. So yeah, any ideas? I'll always be open-eared. You know, I want to do something that I have some passion for. I love sport, I love fitness, I love the outdoors, I love creating. So we'll see if we can find something that suits all those things. Anyway, there we go. So yeah, let's carry on with the walk. So what am I eating now on a day-to-day basis? So when I got out of hospital, I was very underweight after my last operation. So it was very important. Can I sit down? Is it too wet? Yeah, it's too wet. It's very important that I put that weight back on. So I couldn't be too picky about what I was eating. Just had to eat what my body would accept, really, and as much of that as I could. So I was eating lots of chicken, sweet potato fries, and I was also eating quite a lot of croissant. And Jenny always takes the mick out when I say croissant. But yeah, I was eating a lot of croissant to get the calories in. For some reason my body was liking those. And thankfully now my weight has returned to almost normal. So the last time I got on the scales, I was just a little bit over 12 stone, around about 77 kilograms, which is about where I hover normally, which is good. So I'm very happy about that. Obviously, I've done a lot of reading about what people with cancer or people recovering from cancer should eat. And there's a load of research out there. But in some ways, I feel like it can become a little bit of an anxiety-inducing thing to get too obsessed with that, because whereas this research is all very well, and you know, I'm going to take some of it on board and use some of it, I think there's a chance of getting too obsessed and then building anxieties around food and things. So you know, you've got research saying keep carbohydrates really low, because carbohydrates break down into sugar, and sugar is what cancer cells feed off. That's all very well, but you know, my body doesn't really like fats at the moment, or too high a fat content in my food, because I'm not having a gallbladder. So therefore, where am I going to get the calories if I can't eat lots of fat and I can't eat lots of carbohydrates? I can't just eat protein. So I've got to be a little bit sensible about that. I don't eat a lot of sugar, or you know, refined sugar. I did over Christmas. I kind of let myself go a little over Christmas, but I think that's all right. So I will keep sugar low, but I'm not going to obsess over, you know, things like too many carbohydrates. And some of you may be thinking, what about fasting? Why don't you do that? That's going to be good for you. So there's research that shows that your body starts repairing itself after periods of fasting, and you know, I think fasting is good, but I can't actually manage more than about a 16-hour fast at the moment, because my body just doesn't want to do any more than that. So when I fast longer than that, when I then go to eat something, my body is pretty upset with me, so to speak. And I have a theory behind that, and I think it's because I don't have a gallbladder, and when I fast, I think my liver stops producing bile altogether. So that when I break my fast, I don't have the gallbladder, so the storage of bile to then break down that first meal, and I don't have any bile coming from my liver, and therefore my body just says, no, we can't break this down, so we're going to get rid of this. So yeah, I've got to be careful a bit with fasting. Maybe that'll improve over time. But yeah, so that'd be my advice to anyone going through something similar. Don't obsess over your diet. Being sensible is good. Obviously, having a healthy weight is probably the most important thing you should aim for, and try not to obsess over everything else, particularly if your body's still repairing itself and trying to get used to its new environment if you've had operations and things. Let me round this up really quickly, because I didn't exactly answer the question of what I'm eating now. Essentially, the majority of my diet is made up of unprocessed foods, so lean meats, fish, legumes, fruits and veg, with a focus on keeping refined sugar low. As my body adjusts, I may start to play around with the macronutrient composition of my diet a little bit, but I'm not going to put too much pressure on that. I am exercising again, and when I say exercising I mean I'm doing more than just walking. And the reason you haven't seen anything yet on the channel is because I'm trying to make some really good sort of videos over a period of time about that. So there will be content coming in the next month or so. And oh, dog incoming. So yeah, wait and see for that. But yeah, it's going okay. So had a few false starts when it's come to running. Still been on some good runs, albeit short and very difficult. But yeah, I've had a bit of a, I managed to go over on my ankle, and also had a nagging sort of foot pain. It's actually been there a little bit since my operation, which has been a bit weird because I don't think they operated on my foot. But yeah, so running's going okay, slowly building that up. I tried to do some push-ups the other day. Yeah, I forgot that, you know, I haven't done any upper body work for a year and completely overdid it, so stupid me. Haven't injured myself or anything like that, but yeah, it's 6 days later and I can still feel the ache in the muscles, so I'll be a bit slower on the comeback with those, I think. And I've been doing a little bit of work on my spin bike as well, so yeah, it's going well, but more on that in the future. So stay tuned, subscribe if you don't already, if you want to see that. So I've had a few people ask me about the Altra Lone Peak 5s, my trail shoes, and those people are probably from, you know, my early subscribers when I used to make content about running exclusively really, and also reviews on ultra running shoes. So I've been doing a few miles in the Altra Lone Peak 5s and I like them. They definitely feel quite different to the 4.5. That's obviously down, I think, to the Ego midsole, which gives it a lot softer ride. Yeah, I don't know which I prefer yet. I just definitely more used to the more firm ride, the 4.5. But no, I'm liking them so far. So I'm currently reading sort of exclusively fiction, and I think this time of year is a nice time to read a nice fiction book, get lost in a story. And the last book that I finished was 1984 by George Orwell. Never read that before, so I wanted to read something that was deemed a classic, and yeah, that was good. It's an interesting read. And I'm currently reading It by Stephen King, which I'm about halfway through and I'm really enjoying it actually. And I've never read any Stephen King before, so that's why I chose to read that. I think it's a bit criminal perhaps that I've not read any of his books. So yeah, that's what I'm reading. What are you reading? So I just want to finish this video by letting you know what my plans are for creating videos in the future and where I want to take this channel. And I'll start by saying that I want to continue making videos a bit like this, where I talk to you directly, and, you know, vlog style videos where we kind of continue this relationship. And I also want to make some videos about personal development, self-development, just about life lessons that I might have learned through my experiences. And I also want to share any challenges and getting out of my comfort zone that I take on, and as well as ticking things off my bucket list. And if you haven't seen my bucket list video, I released that last week, so you can go and watch that and see what's on my bucket list if you like. But the reason I want to share those things is in the hope that perhaps that I can inspire people that might be going through something difficult in their lives, and they can realise that there is hope and things to look forward to in the future. Yeah, that's the plan. We'll see how we go. But yeah, you know what to do if you like this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.